Welcome guys to another juicy episode of What Mistake We Make in Marriage. This series is all about a couple, Anne and Eric, who are in a search for a child, and Anne, Eric's wife, went out of bounds just to have a child against her husband's Eric's wish. So Anne forced the husband, Eric, on the house girl, Clara. So according to her, Clara, the house girl, could get pregnant for her husband, Eric. And bam, they will now have a child, which is pretty wrong on my part. So in today's episode, Anne, out of jealousy, could no longer sit and watch her husband make out with Clara. And what did she do? She had to chase Clara out of the house without her husband's consent. And luckily enough for Clara, Eric found her on his return back home and took her back to the house, saying that she goes nowhere. And now the question is that will Anne open the doors for Clara to come back into her house again, her matrimonial home, knowing that Eric is enjoying what is going on between her and Clara, and continue catching out with Eric, her husband, in the name of searching for a child. Now here comes a knock at the door. Behold, it was Eric. And Clara immediately and saw Clara. She started ranting, shouting left and right, saying all manner of things, that this lady cannot enter her house. She has asked her to leave and it is permanent. And Clara on her part was scared, shivering and crying, and told the husband that she is no longer in need of Clara's services. And Clara was crying and panic. Then Eric held Anne and told her to stop this madness and give way for Clara to go back to her room and continue with her activities as a house help, and also assist them in having a baby. So he grabbed Anne from the waist and held her so powerfully, carried her to the room just to remind her that all this is all her plans. She is just reaping the fruits of her plans and labor. Let nothing happens to Clara. Clara must stay till she gets pregnant for him and give us a child. Have you forgotten so soon that you forced me into this act? And now why are you gravitating or reacting as if I am the one that willingly went there, of which you are the one that brought it upon us? Remember, I want you, but you never listen. You told me you don't care. All you need is a child from me and Clara. So now why are you behaving in this manner? She is so good at what she does when we are at work to have a baby. So be warned, and no, you don't want to see the beast in me comes out. So respect yourself. Better do that, okay? And let nothing happens to Clara again. And all this is because of you. You brought this on the table, and I'm just executing your plans perfectly for a better result. And I assure you that I and Clara are going to give you a bouncing baby boy, one more of twins, if you want that to happen. And Anne was crying and crying, asking within herself, what have she just done? What have she just brought upon herself? And Eric left to see Clara. But the good thing here is that Eric told Clara never for once disrespect his wife, and just because she is sleeping with him. And if Anne, his wife, does wrong to her, let her wait for him to return back, then complain to him about it, and he will be the one to handle the case, because he is very much in love with his wife. And secondly, her never fails to carry out her duty as a house help in the house, because she is having an intimate time with him. And lastly, let her continue to take good care of him very well emotionally, and enable to get pregnant for him very fast. And if she does, then he promised to take very good care of her, and she will never lack anything in this life. Hey my people, this is getting more and more interesting. The question here is, when will she get pregnant, and how long will Eric keep sleeping with her in search of pregnancy? And do you think Eric did the right thing sticking to the plan, even though it's his wife Anne that brought this upon him and forced him to eat, though he never wanted it from the very first place? Do you think Clara will easily allow herself to get pregnant that fast for Eric, her Oga? Because from the look of things, it seems she is already falling in love with Oga Eric, and this might even take a year or three for her to get pregnant, because the agreement is that if she happens to be pregnant for Eric and give birth, then everything ends up between her and Eric. And considering the fact that she is in love with Eric, will she want that to happen? Let's have your thoughts in the comment section below. And as Anne is concerned, though it serves her right because she brought this upon herself, find out to see her next plan of action, as Clara has just returned back home under the instruction of her husband Eric. Make sure to subscribe if this is your first time watching us, okay? So to avoid these common mistakes we do make in marriage, because these are worst mistakes that we do make in marriage, that is happening a lot in marriages in our society, and some people even break apart just because of what they brought upon themselves and shifting it now to the devil or Satan, of which it was just your lack of discipline that brought this upon yourself. So watch out on the next episode.